The Chancellor says her budgets will tackle the cost of living crisis, reduce the national debt and improve the NHS. Rachel Reeves made a pre-budget speech in Downing Street setting out the challenges she's facing. She's refusing to rule out income tax rises, although that would break on one of Labour's key manifesto pledges from last year's election. Our political editor, Colin Mackay, was watching. Colin, the Chancellor says it's going to be a tough budget.
Well, with 3 weeks until that budget, what we got today from the Chancellor was a positioning speech, and the position that Rachel Reeves is in is between a rock and a hard place. Speculation has been mounting that she's prepared to break Labour's manifesto pledge not to increase taxes for working people, and she did nothing at all to dampen that down today. Right now, it looks like she's considering both tax rises and spending cuts.
As I take my decisions on both tax and spend, I will do what is necessary to protect families from high inflation and interest rates, to protect our public services from a return to austerity, and to ensure that the economy that we hand down to future generations is secure, with debt under control. If we are to build the future of Britain together, we will all have to contribute to that effort.
Now, not raising taxes for working people, VAT, income tax, national insurance, that was a really big manifesto commitment last year, and it would be a big deal to break that just a year into government. And with just 6 months until the next election, the Scottish Parliament election, it could be a gift for Labour's opponents. The Chancellor will be making this decision. If the Chancellor breaks the trust of the public from breaking that manifesto pledge, how would anyone trust your manifesto next year?
The Chancellor is setting out the conditions that face her at a UK government level. It is entirely appropriate that she does so. We don't know, Colin, we don't know what the Chancellor is going to do. I'm not going to second guess that. But of course, tax is a matter for the Scottish Parliament and the Scottish Government, wholly devolved to Scotland.
So, Colin, with income tax devolved, what difference would this make to Scotland?
Well, the speculation has been that the Chancellor could put up income tax by 2p in the rest of the UK, and she did nothing to kill off that idea today. Now, you'd think that that might ultimately increase spending right across the UK, including Scotland. But according to economists at the Fraser of Allender Institute, you'd be wrong, because on Scotland Tonight last night, they explained to me that the devolution deal means that it could actually cut Scotland's funding.
What happens is that the revenues themselves come to Scotland, but there's a deduction for how much would have been collected in the absence of devolution. Now, if the tax revenues from the rest of the UK income tax go up, then that deduction goes up, and that means that the Scottish budget actually gets cut.
Now here the Finance Secretary, Shona Robinson, says that she'll have to wait and see what's actually in the Chancellor's budget on the 26th of November. Rachel Reeves said today that she was setting out the context for that budget today. Against a backdrop of a bad Brexit deal, she says that she's still clearing up after the car crash of Liz Truss's mini-budget, facing a £2.6 trillion debt across the UK, with 10% of taxes going on interest. Now, quite often you find Chancellors preparing the ground ahead of a budget, making things look much worse than they are, and then they maybe pull a rabbit out of the hat. But I don't think there is going to be anything magic about the budget this month. I think it's not so much looking into a hat, she's looking into a deep black hole, £30 billion of a spending black hole, and there is no sign of any rabbits around there whatsoever. Because today Rachel Reeves was steadying the markets, saying that her fiscal rules are ironclad, but she's warning the rest of us that things really are bad.
All right, we'll find out more in a few weeks. Thanks very much for that, Colin.